How do you pick ideas that are worth something? So you're not wasting your time and you're building something that nobody really wants and nobody really uses. So that's what we are going to talk about today. It matters a huge deal, especially in this world of AI and vibe coding, because it's so simple. You can spin up an app in literally few hours or few minutes. Even I have actually done one in 30 minutes. But what I'm leaning on today is my product management experience and then tell you how you can do a MVP app with some research, very targeted research, and then ask the exact questions to actually figure out if it's an idea that you should actually be building or you should just kill it. You joining? I am Pravina. I was a senior product manager and I am going to be an AI engineer and an AI entrepreneur. This is my journey of me leaving a 20-year career, a very good salary, and following my passion of building AI products and sharing real lessons, sharing real apps, real ideas that you can build. So please subscribe to my channel and hope this is helpful for you. And I hope everyone starts to build the right way by learning and understanding what you're doing. So there are two kinds of people: people who have so many ideas that their brain won't shut up. They have um, ideas when they're running, ideas when they're having a shower, ideas when they just wake up out of the bed. And then there are people who don't have any ideas at all. I'm not saying which one is good or which one is bad, um, but I'm unfortunately in that space of having too many ideas, which, if you're a person who's like me, I think that's the wrong person to be, because it's not really a shiny toy syndrome, but it's we keep having so many ideas and it's filter and that funnel and then actually being ruthless and prioritizing becomes so hard. And um, you have to keep doing it constantly. It's not once. You have to keep telling yourself that this is the one path we are going to follow, which is so hard. So I started with around six ideas. My actual set of ideas, my actual set of backlog, I don't even want to talk about because I have so many ideas. Just to give you a single um, view of my how my world is, I have a folder called burnt offerings, which are all of the ideas I have pivoted away from, or I have abandoned, or I have parked for some time in the future when all the stars are aligning, right? You know how that will turn out, which is never, right? So this video, let's look at exactly what's the process I have followed in this series, bringing my product background and some of the research ideas, and then doing a lean ideation phase so that we can focus on what's more fun and exciting, which is actually building AI stuff. Killing some of the ideas is the most productive thing I have done, and this is probably the most important takeaway if you're a builder, if you're an engineer, if you're a vibe coder, whoever you are. Know why ideation matters and how you ideate. So you get an idea. Typically, this is what happens, at least with me. You convince yourself it's brilliant. You spend the next 3 months building it. You buy a domain. You redesign the logo some 8 times. You change the colors. You spend 2 days arguing about a name. Then, when launch arrives, there's crickets, right? So nobody actually cares. Um, you may have about three visitors, and one of them is your friend because they um, so I have done some versions of this in the past, right? And I've learned little bit. I've not learned fully, but I've learned a lot. And this is where I think my product management background actually helps, because what I did different this time was create guardrails. Every single idea had to survive a series of interrogations and stress tests, if you will. Um, I've realized the hardest problem really is knowing which problem to solve, who your buyer is, and what problem is really worth paying for. So it's not like a Shark Tank level thing, but at least it's more of a airport security. Let's get the right ideas in. Let's only care about the problems that the market might care about. Um, so that's when I let me just show you what that framework actually looks. Um, the few gates that I intentionally thought of is I don't want anything that can be um, a chat GPT extended prompt, right? So if someone says that I'll put my prompt into chat GPT and then get a response, that's not an app, guys. Please don't build such apps, because when you ask that question you can't defend it. So then the next question you might ask is, so what is a moat, right? What makes my app a little bit more valuable? So generally for products, what I've seen is when you have a moat, when you have data, when you have a lot of steps that the AI is doing, or integrations, or a combination of these things, right? And since this is a app one, and as you know, the reason I'm doing this is to learn and learn from scratch and not let AI do everything for me. So the other clear um, gate for me was it should be in the scope of what I need to build. It's a first production API that I will truly know end to end. So I need to have it in the tech stack that I have chosen in grade one. Next one is the most important one. It should be linked to revenue. There should be some signals in the market, right? So is this something that people are willing to pay for? Then the third one again is the hardest one, especially if you are either in a corporate job or a tech or in a technology role close to me. Um, it's hard to know whether you want who your buyer is, right? How do you get close to them? How do you get into this world of problem space and validation, right? Um, you need to define whether is it people who are they small businesses or they large businesses, where are they based, how much buying power do they have? So these are all market research kind of questions that we need to think about, right? So my gate was have a very clear buyer. I cannot, this can't be an app for everybody because then it's an app for nobody. I then wanted to have a bit of a domain knowledge edge. That's because if it is something that I already know, it might be easy. So that automatically then knocks off some things like I'll never get, like tax, for example. Who understands tax? I don't know. And why they do it, I don't know. But that's besides the point. Um, Perhaps the most useful one, which is very closely tied to the revenue generating concept, as having the demand signal, right? Like we talked about. So there should be an evidence. So there are some easy evidence signals that you can pick up. So you can go to TrustMRR, you can go to Reddit, you can go to AppSumo, you can go to X. Um, is anyone already paying for something like this? Are people complaining about a specific problem? Is there an app that is so expensive and I can just pick one feature, which is the most important one from the reviews, and then actually just focus on that one thin slice, right? So that's the one thin slice that you need, and then pick a domain that you're really comfortable with. Was a YouTube competitor intel. This helps creators research competitors, they spot content gaps. Then the next idea that I have picked, which is the one that I've kind of tuned and arrived at, is an SEO snapshot. So I chose my idea on Sunday. Today is Saturday. Sorry, I did my entire ideation research on Saturday. Yesterday I was on a train and my mind kept saying, do you know what, that's not a good idea. I saw a YouTube video where someone talked about doing end screens and YouTube comments, and I thought, you know what, that's really cool. Why don't we do that? And I was so convinced. I was 99.9% sure that that was the idea, and I should just like let go of the 2 days and then start from scratch. And this and what I did was the most important feedback or learning that everyone should apply. I, s- I sent two messages to two Reddit subgroups and asked them a very specific question. Is there something that you would pay for? I'm just looking for for your expert advice. I don't need anything else. Um, there were only about two comments on each, but there were comments, right? So the first person who commented on the YouTube update said that like that's the least of my problems. So that's a signal, right? Like he doesn't care. The other one, interestingly, there was one person who said, I don't understand what you mean. And then I went back and explained it's more like an audit report for SEO. And they said, like, oh, is this even possible for education? So there was some curiosity markers there, right? And that's my ideation, right? I was like, then, okay. So this exactly is mom test in practice, and if there's one book I would recommend, it's Mom Test. It teaches you how to validate. So you may be following my YouTube series and doing maybe app one or all the way till app six. Wherever you stop, I think you still need validation, right? Like we cannot just go on and build things if you want your app to work and people to actually use it and pay you for it, you need validation. The next thing we are going to talk about is market scan. Um, how do you validate ideas quickly? Now, this is the most important problem, right? So, would you would you typically startup companies have a lot of money ID for going and speaking to people like Airbnb actually went and had guys standing on a pavement and asking them if they were interested to actually rent their houses to strangers. I think Uber also did something similar. So we are not startups. We don't have money. We're more or less solo, um, and we don't have time, and we want to optimize learning. So there's so many constraints for normal human beings like us. So what do we do then? So TrustMRR is a site that tells you how much an app has earned or how much it's being sold for, which is always a good signal. Please don't copy the apps verbatim. The other one I would also look at is AppSumo, which is quite similar when you have to just like sell your app for a subscription, like a one off fee kind of a thing. Share something that has value over time, that compounds over time, because your product should never be one and done, right? So, for example, tell me like there must be some dynamic elements in the idea that you build. Otherwise, you may have one sale in your life from one customer. So this is what in product language we call as LTV or lifetime value. So lifetime value is, um, can customers keep coming back to you, and can they keep getting more insights and more stuff, or is it just like one and done, right? It's like going and buying a luxury bag once in a lifetime, and you have a luxury bag and you don't need another one because they're there. Right. So let me just give you an idea, because we are going to spend a lot of videos, episodes going detailed into this app. So let me try and explain what the GrowthMap app is all about, which passed all of the gates. So local businesses, they lose revenue when nearby competitors are easier to find in search, and they are increasingly found in the AI answers as well, because as you know, AI answers is now on the top, and then your organic search comes at the bottom. So, for example, if there's a dentist in London, they're losing to a dentist down the road because their page doesn't clearly target all the right words. So, a plumber is invisible if their local search um, has no FAQs, no location signals, or anything like that. So, that gap is real, it is measurable, Most of the businesses, I would say, are affected by it. So my buyer, I would say, are SEO freelancers or SEO agencies, designers, people who already sell to businesses. And this can actually become a good artifact or an audit to use in their pitch. It's a clear reason why they need to hire them to do those fixes, and more importantly, it's something that they don't have immediately, right? So you can't go and get your search keywords up unless you pay for Ahrefs like tons of money. And then you also don't get the keyword questions, the exact um, FAQs that need to be added onto your site. So no one gives you that, and that's linked in a way to your keywords, and that's linked to your demand and all of these things, right? So together this seems like a good thin slice. So the artifact is really a local visibility gap report, which will have the top keywords, it will have the competitor signals, FAQs, and it's something that they could just run it once, save it, email it to their potential customers. And from a price point perspective, I'll talk about this more in terms of costs and generally costs for setting up your own AI systems builder or your entrepreneurship. Is It's not much. The API costs I've seen is it should be um, per per call, including all of my technology hosting and everything considered. It should be under $2 or £2. So I have now just said, like, let's just say $12 or £12 is what the report cost will be, right? And it's cheap enough. It's what it's a cost of a coffee in a very good coffee, a coffee, let's say coffee and a sandwich. So that's our app one. It fits beautifully the scope of grade one that we're building. Um, this video took so long, it's dark already. But I hope you guys got a good idea of how to ideate, how to validate, how to put guardrails, and how to pick ideas that have a chance to be successful. And I'm hoping you'll continue to build with me on GrowthMap. I'll share all the code, all the resources, all of the build decisions that I'm making. Um, and the next video is an exciting one because I'm going to talk about um, setting up your dev system, setting up infrastructure, how the trade offs with actually hosted versus on prem, things. So stay tuned and please do subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.